everyone, welcome to today's tutorial. We are going to be working with the Echo Park I Love Summer collection, and we are going to be making 4 pages today, and we're going to be adding in the decorative brads, the die cuts here, and also the chipboard stickers. We are definitely going to have a lot of leftover pieces of embellishments and papers, so I'm going to kind of show you today in my video what I do with my spare pieces and how I organize them to be ready to do something with them later on. Okay, so this kit has 12 double-sided pattern papers, and they're all very, very nice. It's got a good good beach vibes or pool vibes. I added in 2 sheets of crumb cake cardstock from Stampin' Up as my neutral, and then I used this navy yellow paper as an accent. You could use a lighter blue that has an orange side to it, but I wanted the navy cardstock as my accent, and I also like the yellow accent as well, so I'm gonna choose later whether I want to flip this page over and use the yellow or the blue side. The inspiration for me was that well, I have 2 boys, but they usually wear like really colorful swim shorts, but my daughter's bathing suit's actually navy and white, like navy and white striped, so the navy is gonna pull some of those colors out a bit better, so that's why I did that. So here, when I'm picking my pages, I'm just separating out my element papers, so the cutouts for the pocket pages, I'm putting those to the side and only using them if I have to. I really do like this. So we need 4 background papers and we need 2 accent papers. Accent papers go on top of the background pages, so they generally have to tie in the pages together a little bit more than the background pages would, and they really are going to stand out on your pages, so they have to work with your pictures and the embellishments that you want to use. I really, really love this pink. I love how bold of a print that pink is, so I'm pulling that and I'm going to use that as an accent. I think it looks great with the navy and the yellow. Now I need to pick another accent and my 4 backgrounds. So these are kind of the plainer looking sides, these 3 pages here, and I just decided that I really like this yellow polka dot paper as an accent. It looks good with most of the remaining papers that I have, and the back side of this yellow paper actually looks really good too, so it's something that you could choose to use as well when you go to layer your papers. So now I need 4 background papers, and I don't want flowers in my color scheme. I didn't really like the pink of this paper, so those 2 are out. And so here I really like the brown wood grain kind of background, so I ended up picking that multi-image one up there. Also, I love the wording and the white background of that next paper, and then of course to tie it in more together, I used the wood grain flip-flop sandal paper as well. And for these last 2 pages, you really have to decide for yourself, do you want more of a fish background or more of a bathing suit background? For me, I have boys, and those were kind of girl bathing suits, so I just decided to go ahead with the fish background. We have cutting diagrams in my tutorial videos, and I just kind of want to let you know how to read them. So there's the number in top in inches, and that's going to be the size that we're going to cut that cut piece into. And there's a number below it in a circle. So a lot of the times we're making 4 pages or 6 pages when we're using these cutting diagrams, and all these cut pieces can sort of get very disorganized. So that number inside of the circle there represents a pile that you're going to put that cut piece into. So for a 4-page tutorial, we're going to make 4 piles, and for a 6-page tutorial, we're going to make 6 piles. So the numbers are going to be either 1 through 4 or 1 through 6. So page 1 is going to have all the cut pieces that have a circle with the number 1 inside, and so on for the 4 or 6 pages. So now we're going to go ahead and take all pieces of our cardstock and we are going to cut 1 inch in, 1 inch from the top, and 1 inch from the bottom. And we're going to make a straight line on all 4 sides of each of these pieces of cardstock. What we're basically doing is cutting a 10 by 10 inch square out of the center of this piece of cardstock. The border is going to be put into our pile, and the center, the 10 by 10 inch center, is going to be put to the side, and we're going to be cutting it with another cutting diagram as soon as we're done cutting out all of these squares. Now we're going to go ahead and cut the backgrounds for our pages. So we are going to be cutting the barcode strip off along with 1/2 inch, and then 1/2 inch on the other side. So we're going to be making an 11.5 inch by 11.5 inch square for all of our background papers. So for this third page here, you can see that I kind of play around with using the yellow or the blue side for the cardstock. Also, I play around with the concept of using the flip-flops or using the back side, which is more seashells, a lighter colored background. And for me, I really did love this side. I thought it looked amazing with that pink pattern paper, and I really loved how this page looked with that side. But my summer pictures aren't really starfish, like ocean type of pictures, because we live near, like, we have a lake lot. So for us, our summer vibes are like lake vibes, not ocean vibes. And this side just didn't work with my pictures. Even though I loved this side, it wasn't going to work for the theme of our pictures. But it's definitely a great option if you want more ocean beach kind of vibes. So you'll often hear me say that all of my spare paper, that I like to use them for cards or for pocket pages or like Project Life type of albums. So what I do is, like, these are all of our spare pieces of pattern paper and our 4x6, 4x4, and 3x4 elements. Okay, so what I'm going to do is all of my spare cardstock, I cut it into 4x6 sizes. So when I'm done with a kit and I go to store it, I cut up those 12x12 papers into 4x6 sizes. Okay, and then what I also like to do is cut up all of these elements, and I typically do this after, not during a kit like I'm doing right now. And I cut them all up because if they're cut and ready, I'm more likely to use them. And the reason this time I'm doing it in the middle of my 4-page layout kit tutorial is because I might be using some of these elements on my pages. I just haven't decided yet. So you'll see me kind of sift through them while I'm picking my embellishments. That's because I have them ready, I have them cut. And when I am done my 4 pages, I'll just store these. So what I typically like to do is take out all of my leftovers like this, all of my leftover embellishments, everything. I save this 6x12 bag from my chipboard accents, and I put everything into that bag, and then I'll put all of my leftover embellishments in there. And I'll show you this at the end of the video as well, how I completely finished this. But I put all of these embellishments in here, and I just fold this bag up and I close it, and I kind of put all these in a box, and I just have them for when I want to work on my pocket page album. Okay, so that's how I use my leftovers, and that's what I do with them. So for now, we're just going to get back to the 4-page tutorial that we're working on. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open up our embellishments, put them out in front of me, and we are going to go ahead and get started with our embellishments. I have a spare sheet of the blue-yellow cardstock that I want to use as mats on a few of our pages, just because I felt like the crumb cake cardstock blended in with the background a little bit too much on a couple of the pages. I have included that third blue-yellow pattern paper as an option in the material list, so just want to make note of that because I didn't make note of it at the beginning of the video. Okay, so it's kind of crazy to be working on summer pages, especially at home here, because the last few days it's still been snowing. So yeah, late April, beginning of May, definitely don't want to see snow, but we have had some snow and it's melted. So the sun is warmer now, and it's definitely we've had a nice spring, so I can't complain. So it's kind of the vibes for making summer pages is just, it's a little bit weird right now at home here anyways, but it was a lot of fun, and I really do love this this collection. I love the blue and the pink together along with the pop of yellow. I think it's just so vibrant and bold and pretty. Yeah, it's one of my favorite packs that I've had in a long time. Okay, so here I took a 3x4 element that said, "Let's build sandcastles," and I decided to put this element on the paper with the fishes on it. Now, it was a decision between using the fish paper and using bathing suit paper, and when I looked at my pictures, I didn't really want it to be about just my daughter who would be one in a bathing suit like that. But I figured that the fishes were more appropriate for the layout I'm doing, because when my kids go to the lake, they hang out on the beach, they don't really build a castle, but they do make like sort of like, they'll make structures in the sand and then put like moats around it, and then they'll catch minnows from the lake and they'll put the minnows in the moat, or like in sort of like they'll like build a house for the minnows and then release them after a little while. So playing in the sand and building stuff in the sand and then catching minnows is sort of like something that happens all at the same time. And my kids have done this for years and years, and like now that I have teenagers, they even like get involved and see like who can make the best like minnow house, and who has minnows that escape first, and things like that. So having the fishes and the sandcastle concept on one page, I could probably make 10 layouts like this throughout the years. So I definitely, this page will definitely be a favorite when the kids go through and see it. Okay, so on this page here, you'll notice that cardstock sort of blends in with the background too much. That's where I pull out this cardstock and I make a mat. And because we have blue cardstock there as well, I decided to switch it up and use the yellow side, create the mat, and it sort of ties in that yellow border anyways. So it just helps that area pop off the page a little bit better. And you'll notice too that when I structure where I put my photos on the page, you'll see that there's like a blank spot at the bottom of the 4x6, but also a blank spot at the top of the 3x4 photo. So when I go to put my embellishments, I don't really have a straight line to work with, but I have like two areas that I can create clusters in. So an area under that 4x6 photo, and then an area on top of that 3x4 photo area. And then it just sort of creates like a diagonal like line kind of going through both of those pictures. Okay, so here I love this 4x4 summer element. So I decided to cut the top of the wood part off so that it looked like this was like a sort of like a little folder, or like a little tab that said summer. And I just love the font that they chose to use in this collection. I think it's so fun and lighthearted. I didn't really want the tree there, the palm tree, so I covered it with the chipboard sandcastle. So now that I look back at the page, I really feel like maybe it turned into too much of a beach page, like a ocean vibe kind of a page for my lake pictures, but I'm just gonna let it go, and I still think it works with our pictures. The whole toes in the sand concept and the tiki hut, it works for the pictures. We have a lot of sand on our lake lot, and my daughter, she likes to make pina coladas, obviously without alcohol in them. And the way our decks are set up and the vibe on our decks and stuff, it still sort of fits with my pictures and sort of the vibes that we're feeling in our pictures. So I'm gonna let this one go, even though the theming is a little bit off, and I still think it's a beautiful layout, and it's gonna work really, really well for my pictures. You'll notice that sort of like the direction of this page kind of goes, like I said, above that 3x4 photo area down to the clusters underneath that 4x6 photo area. Again, the photo area is sort of acting like the dominant thing that ties in all these embellishments together. Okay, so I pulled out some zip dry, these little chipboard pieces. Sometimes they're not sticky enough to really stay on the page, so I just anchored them to the page with some zip dry. I felt like it was like the best thing to adhere them to the page with, and just let that dry and they should be good to go. Now here I'm going to be using this blue embellishment here that says sunshine, seashells, popsicles, flip-flops, and summer, and I'm really just trying my best to eliminate that word seashells because lake vibes aren't really a seashell thing. So I kind of liked how this Hello Sunshine filled that space. It was a lighter blue and it still worked with the darker blue, but it says sunshine on top and it seemed a little bit awkward, so I'm just kind of trying different things. And like, I don't want this page to be too crazy busy because the background is already super busy, and sometimes like when your pages are all too busy it just becomes too much. So I didn't want this page to be, you know, really, I didn't want it to have lots of embellishments on it, so I was trying to keep things a little bit more simple. And you can see, like, I kind of struggle a little bit with trying to place everything, but in the end what I ended up doing is I took this dark blue embellishment and I tucked it in underneath that 3x4 photo area to hide the word sunshine. And then I popped up this Hello Sunshine tag on top to cover the seashell word. Okay, and then I used this sort of as my base for my cluster, and then I cluster a few more embellishments around the rest of it. So I'm gonna put in a sticker of a girl on a tube. I want this to kind of be, I need a couple pages from this collection to be about like having a pool day, so where they're floating around in the pool, because that's also something my kids really do a lot of in the summer. Okay, and then I put a pair of sunglasses and another little chipboard piece that says life is better in flip-flops, since we had to incorporate the flip-flops a little bit into here as well. Okay, and then I also tucked in a die cut piece at the top. I didn't want to use the whole thing, but it says happiness is a day at the pool, and I tucked it in underneath that brown crumb cake cardstock, and then I added that chipboard sun, and I'm going to finish it off with a couple smaller elements. So this beach ball brad, and then I added another pink brad as well. And I was gonna put another brad beside the sun there, but I changed my mind because I didn't have the right size of brad I wanted. So then I used foam tape, and I just took this little word that says swim, and I decided to tuck it in right beside the sun. That sun actually isn't a chipboard. I think I said that it was a chipboard, but it's not. It's popped up. It's a popped up sticker. And I think that's how I finished this page. So for my last page here, I just kind of wanted it to be a general summer vibes kind of page. So I put some beach balls and a bike with some flowers in it, and the flip-flops and the watermelon, and a couple of embellishments that said hello summer. I just love the color and how this page turned out. I think it's beautiful. The background page has a bunch of different elements in it. And if you do need more pages or pictures on this page, you could easily swap out that 4x6 photo area with some different photo sizes, and this page would also work with a bunch of square sizes of prints as well, because that background pink paper behind the blue cardstock is a square shape, so you could easily fill that area with some square photos and tuck that yellow pattern paper behind that square. If you wanted to kind of just change up the orientation of this page to incorporate more pictures. So here, now that we're finished our kit, I'm just gonna kind of finish off showing you how I store all of my leftovers. This chipboard area, I'm not always left with this many pieces of chipboard, but I do cut up my chipboard pieces so that they fit better. Basically, everything that I'm cutting up has to be 4x6 size or smaller, so that they fit well together. And you're not really going to use anything bigger than 6 inches anyways, because most of the pocket pages, not all of them, but most of them have a max size of about 6 inches. So the sizes that I work with in my pocket pages, they're all about that 6-inch size. So I just cut everything, even these 12 by 12 or these 12-inch borders at the bottom of this page that I didn't use. Like, I cut those at 6 inches too, because that's the max I'm ever going to use it at anyway. So here I kind of moved some stickers around in various spots so I can cut these pieces up and make them a smaller size. Now, I don't usually have this much left for stickers or chipboard pieces, but I ended up having a lot left with this collection. So when we look at my package here, it's probably twice as thick as it normally is. I ended up with a lot more pieces this time. Okay, so that's it for this week's tutorial. I really hope you liked it. I will be back next Friday with another tutorial. Thank you so much for watching.